Good evening. My name is Christian Bursuch. Welcome to Hear Me Out Sports. Today we are going to be talking about the travesty of a team that is the New Orleans Saints. As a lifelong Saints fan, I've loved this team through a lot of ups and downs. I saw Drew Brees lead us to a Super Bowl, and I cheered through all of the 7 and 9 seasons. But what I'm seeing now this year is absolutely unacceptable. This defense has no pursuit in them. They don't fight for 50-50 balls, and they let subpar NFL players walk all over them. Guys like Demario Davis can't do it all on the defensive end. The receivers look scared to get hit over the middle at times, going down when they could fight for a few extra yards easily. Alvin Kamara has had no help from this young, developing O-line, which I believe will make him end up demanding a trade at some point. Spencer Rattler actually looks better than I thought, so I'll give him credit there, but is he really a long-term option for this team? Is Spencer Rattler a starting quarterback of the future for any team in this league? It seems like we didn't put together a team to win games, just to go out there and go through the motions. And I think it all starts with the general manager. It is the job of the GM to put together a successful team of players, right? Mickey Loomis has been the GM in New Orleans since 2002. That's the year I was born, for some extra added context. 23 years, and his only success came because he stumbled his way into hiring Sean Payton, who then went out and got Drew Brees. Without those two names, Mickey Loomis has been a disaster of a general manager in the National Football League. Since Sean Payton left, Loomis has hired Dennis Allen, Darren Rizzi, and now Kellen Moore as head coaches. Darren Rizzi was an interim coach, so I'll spare him from the beating, but Dennis Allen was an absolute dud of a hire. He had success in the past, but Dennis Allen came to New Orleans and just became an instant yes man. He wasn't able to make any hard decisions to get us out of mediocrity. He said yes while we signed Derek Carr, which was a not great decision, and we wasted Alvin Kamara and Cameron Jordan's last few seasons of prime production on nothing, on 9 and 8, 8 and 9. Kellen Moore, he was hired this year to come in and change the culture, but he seems like he's another yes man so far. After 3 weeks, he's just not the same as a head coach as he was as an offensive coordinator. This offense is bottom 5, and he isn't even willing to change up the game plan when he has struggling players. Blake Grupe, the Saints kicker, is off to a historically bad start, missing every attempt he's taken past 36 yards, and he's currently sitting at a 57.1% make percentage on his field goals. Kicker is a position that we see new players in every week. Teams fire players on the fly and sign someone new before the day is over. Any other coach on any other NFL team would have signed a new kicker that could easily make those missed attempts and possibly win this team some games. What is keeping Kellen Moore and the Saints team from making the changes necessary to win some games? Or at least just be more competitive in these games. I mean, we almost lost to Mac Jones and the 49ers. We're going to talk all about that after a short break. That's what brings us to our next discussion. Tanking. There's much discussion on social media about the possibility of the Saints tanking. Now, tanking in the NFL isn't nearly as common as it is in the NBA. But in the Saints situation, it's pretty interesting to take a look at. The Saints have almost $75 million in dead cap this season. Dead cap, if you don't know, is money that you're paying to someone no longer on your roster for one reason or another. The Saints are currently paying Marshawn Lattimore $30 million to play for the Commanders this season, and they're paying retired players like Derek Carr and Michael Thomas a combined $30 million as well. The idea that the internet has come up with is that the Saints are tanking for the number 1 overall pick, and that they'll use that pick to draft a franchise-altering player, which the internet suggests Arch Manning, but I'm not too sure that Arch is going to declare for the draft this year, and even if he does, I don't think he's quite number 1 overall pick material yet, but the team will then use that now available $75 million in cap space to make this roster playoff worthy, massively upgrade it, right? To me, it sounds like something straight out of Madden. And it's definitely not something that Mickey Loomis would come up with. He's the person who got this team here in the first place, is he not? I think we all should have seen this coming when we look back on this team's history. I remember in 2018 watching the Minnesota Miracle and being absolutely heartbroken by sports for the first time. And then not even a year later, the worst no-call pass interference in NFL history against the Rams brought that exact same heartbreak back. We should have realized right then and there that this team is cursed. We'll be right back after one last break. Look, I would love for there to be some secret tanking plan going on, but the reality is that this team just isn't good. This team is in the middle of a brutal rebuild, and I think the best way forward is to trade Alvin Kamara while he's still productive and let the young guys ride. Alvin Kamara is still a productive back that most teams would like to have. It's worth it right now to get a few draft picks for him, and that's one of those trades that's not too risky for this team's future. I think that we need to avoid drastic trades that might negatively impact our rebuild. Mickey Loomis has made this bed, and now he has to lay in it. Let's start up the Jerry Jones comparisons, okay? But on a serious note, there are definitely some young stars on this team, and they need to let them shine and look ahead to the future. If the number 1 overall pick really is in this team's future, there are definitely some talented players at the college level that could make an instant impact on this team, like edge Ruben Bain Jr. or defensive lineman Peter Woods from Clemson. I'm not sure a quarterback is the best decision in this year's draft, but to be honest, I really just need to see more of the prospect before I can say that definitively. Honestly though, I would love to be wrong about this team. I'm definitely still rooting for them to succeed despite all the negative things I just said about them. But let's be real, they play the Bills this week, so I'm positive they're not going to turn it around this week. But week 5 versus the Giants, that will be the true test for just how hopeless this New Orleans Saints team is. Thanks again for watching. My name is Christian Bursuch, and this is Hear Me Out Sports. We'll see you next time.